Hello, I'm James J, and this is my mini lecture on the concept of closing with an image. I wanted to start it by just reading a couple of short stories from the the Rose Metal Press Flash Fiction Anthology, and just wanted to read a couple of closing lines. So this is one from Lydia Copeland, and it closes. You will walk with your arms crossed over your chest and a black dog following behind you. You with your books and new sneakers. You with your round face and chocolate eyes singing and singing. So I use that example without knowing even the beginning of the story, that is something that is vivid and you can imagine, right? You can imagine that person is in that second person address with the you, but you can imagine that person walking. You can very much see that action. The other one that I wanted to close with is this one from Ron Carlson. It says, "Don't look at the candle, for when it flickers and goes out, your eyes will only see the ghost and not the real dark before you." So don't look at the candle, for when it flickers and goes out, your eyes will only see that ghost and not the real dark before you. So working with that flickering candle light and that light image. So I mentioned that in that one of the strategies for closing up a short story that especially when you're only working 500 or 750 words, whatever it might be, one of the things that's difficult is that you've been doing this great work with images and with strong, engaging writing throughout the story, and then you get to the end and it's tempting to put a bow on the thing and to just wrap it all up in a neat package to make sure that the reader understands exactly what the story means, right? It's like taking those last couple of sentences and summarizing everything that's gone before it. This is probably a bad impulse. It's a completely understandable impulse, and it's one that a lot of times that we all do, right? Because we're going through and we want to make sure that our reader understands what has happened. It's our last thing, right? The close is our last thing to say in the story, so you want to put it all together. I would encourage folks to resist that urge to tie everything up in a neat ball. Instead, look to close with a specific image, a specific action. So instead of saying something at the end, and we were all frustrated, or everyone was confused, right? These sort of vague, overreaching summaries of what has happened. Instead, can you show that particular action through an image or through some sort of particular detail of action? So that would just be something that I would recommend doing. Oftentimes too, that I found if I've put one of those bows and one of those wraps on the end of it into my story, I will go back through, and if I just cut through those last couple of sentences, sometimes the best close happened 3 or 4 sentences before. So that sometimes it's just that easy. If writing were only that easy, right, everyone would do it. But sometimes I'll find those sort of things, or it'll be a matter of just kind of rearranging, so that taking some of that summary information, oftentimes cutting it, but maybe if I move it up a little bit forward and then pull one of the images that were in front of that back behind it. So arranging things so that the image comes out at the end, or cutting the more abstract summary and replacing with an image. Something to fiddle with, something to see what you can do with that. And it's like with any sort of writing, it's the idea of you get it down on the page, and then you can start fiddling with the words and cutting and shifting and moving things around and making that story come to life. So I would recommend, if you're having a hard time with your close and you don't feel like it's really striking the way you'd like it to, try closing with an image. All right, we'll see you next time. Good luck with your writing.